Good evening and welcome to Full Sail On Air. This evening we're learning about the competitive advantage, verbal and nonverbal skills to build your success. Tonight we're being joined by a very special guest. Wendy Lyn Phillips is joining us with a combined 25 years of experience and expertise dealing with professional image expertise as well as being a trainer. She comes to us giving us all sorts of information as an entrepreneur to help us be successful. She has coached thousands of individuals about having a compelling presence and using that presence to be able to open doors both personally and professionally. She actually rose to the top 2% in sales and in leadership with Mary Kay Cosmetics. She received 15 free cars working with the company, 4 of them their signature pink Cadillacs. So she is definitely a gal who knows how to sell. She transitioned to her current company, Wendy Lyn Unlimited, with full-scale coaching and services company today that helps individuals become dynamic speakers, teaches image and impact, and different workshops and corporations that she works with to help improve their sales. So without further ado, you may have seen her on Fox News or in various other outlets. Let's go ahead and bring out our speaker, Wendy Lyn Phillips.
Yay.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Kat. Thank you
Welcome
so much.
to Full
I'm
Sail.
excited to be here. And you showed up. Yay. You could have been a number of places tonight. Thank you for choosing to come here and invest in you, right? You are your best advertising. You are your best marketing plan. You are your best business card, and you are the face of what you want to have happen, what you're selling, the product, the service, the company. My new word today, I've been at a workshop at the Alfond Inn with a lot of CEO, president women from around the nation, all doing a minimum of $1 million plus. And so my new word today is scale to sale. So anyway, that's not quite right, scale to sell. It's not, you don't scale to grow a company, you scale to sell it. It's a little bit different in your marketing plan. That's not what I'm here tonight to talk about, however. So I'm excited to be here, and this is my opening story. So I recently read this article about the poker player in Las Vegas. I knew there would be some men in the room that this might relate to. And this poker player was asked, "Sir, what gives you the competitive advantage?" Now, this poker player is the one that brought home tens of millions of dollars when he would sit at that table every week after week after week and did the tournaments. And so they asked him that question. And you might be surprised at his response. "Sir, what gives you the competitive advantage?" And he said this. He said, "The difference in me and everyone else at the table is not skill, it's not luck. The difference in who goes home with millions and who goes home empty-handed is understanding. It's understanding how you're being perceived. And the cues that you give intentionally or unintentionally are what make all the difference." And I propose tonight for you that it's the very same thing. It's those cues that you give to others that will either help you be remembered or not so much. They will help you get the second call back during an interview, or perhaps be overlooked. Today, you can look at paper, and you can look at resumes, and you can act and talk and use whatever kind of words you want to fill out that resume and try to have an edge up on perhaps someone else. You might both be very similarly aligned. You might be exactly aligned on paper. And who's going to get the job? The one that made the most memorable in-person interview. And so that's why what we're talking about tonight matters for you. It's not only for job acquisition, though. It's not just about interviewing skills and the body language that, do you like me, do you not? Is my hair do you like this thing? I had pants on. I wear this as a dress, actually. And then I said, I could wear this as a jacket. I'm into investment wardrobing. The guys are going, oh my gosh. Okay, I have some good stuff for y'all. So I like you right here on the front row. This is good. High five. All right. I think I can see some of you others. But, are we still at the first slide?
You are still at the first slide.
Now,
Did you want to start off with your video, or do you want to
No, not yet.
save that?
No, we're going to the next one.
We'll
so here we
ahead
go.
and
Are
move
you
on
the
through
ticker?
Slides. I will.
There we go. Who knows who that is? Yes. Any tennis players? Oh, good. All right. I played in college. I played softball in college on a full scholarship, but tennis was my fun game. Now, I know I'm going way back, but he is the one that really said what? Now, what was he selling? What's the brand? Come on. What is that brand? No. What was the commercial? What was it?
Cameras.
No. What was it? No. Oh my gosh.
Not Polaroid.
Canon. Yes, it was the Canon. What is that shot? Sure shot. Yeah.
Sure shot.
Anyway, yes, there it was. So there's a bit about branding. Come on, y'all are my branding people, right? All right. So yes, image is everything. And back in the day, before y'all were born, on the left, that's what he looked like. Yeah, on your right. Today, that was a picture just 2 years ago. So he's changed a bit, it's the same person. He's a little bit older, but yeah, branding is everything. And why else the image that we portray and the way we're being perceived, now neither one of those, it's not a right and a wrong. It's a different message that you're sending. And so effective communication knows when to put a headband on and maybe, when to not. Okay, so one of the things that is so true is that perception may not always reflect ultimate truth. We are misperceived all the time. You misperceive me. I misperceive and misjudge people all the time. We know that that's true. I'm not saying that you can get that 100% right, but understanding transcends truth. And so the fact is that the more you understand how you're being perceived, the more you're able to connect with others and truly have a competitive advantage. Oftentimes it's what I call the tweak to your chic. You just need to make a tweak. So many people are like right on the edge of excellence and they settle for good. It's kind of like good and then great and then excellent. And if you go for excellence and you end up great, then woohoo. But to be good and just kind of go, I'm good enough. That's one of my, I hate that. My girls do not say that in my household. That's we are not good enough. Not when you can do it better and you can do it with excellence. So we have a high bar. I just had to tell one of them yesterday, they just turned 15 and 10. So this is, a little crazy. Anyway, and the 15-year-old, I said, honey, it's true. I'm sorry. You got born into this. But we got a high bar around here. My husband owns his own business. He's owned his own business for 16 years, and I've owned mine my whole life. And so we are entrepreneurs, and that means almost 24/7. And so we love what we do, and we have a lot of fabulous things, and we have a lifestyle that we feel so blessed to enjoy. But it's because we work our butts off. Okay, so here we go. And the other reason that this is so good is that oftentimes understanding, sometimes comes with heartache, because if you really want to understand, you've got to know the truth. And the truth sometimes doesn't feel so good. It's not what you want to hear. I tell people now that I work with, not clients, the other people I align myself when I'm working with them, I say, do you want me to tell you what you want to hear, or do you want me to tell you the truth? And then conversely, I say all the time, please tell me what I need to know, not what you think I want to hear. I can only grow if I know the truth. I can only grow when there's authenticity and transparency. How can we get it better if we don't know what the room for improvement is, or what the scale is, or where the bar was? I think that's a bit of a problem. And in business, it's, all over the place. And I happen to be a creative person. There wasn't any Full Sail back in the day for me, or I would have so ended up here. But the other thing that I did that I believe helped me be real successful, as I say this with my tongue in cheek, is that as a child, I was, oh no, we're going back. No, oh my gosh, as a child. Can you believe I'm doing this? We're getting ready to do the video.
Certainly.
My mom and dad made me do chores.
Here we go.
So let's see how many of you
I have
did
messages popping up
chores
here.
too. It's coming, I know. It's just popped right up there. Here's our fun little... Maybe?
It should be. Is it feeding through?
I don't know. It's all right.
Maybe a mystery for right now.
It's okay.
We'll go back to it at the end.
If it comes up, great. All right, so scratch that. Let's see.
No
We're doing
worries.
understanding, and so perception is all about understanding how others perceive you. So it's not so much about you judging others, and there's not a lot of total black and white things. It's that you have to get that sense. It's almost like that sixth, seventh, eighth sense of being with people and really understanding what it is that they're communicating to you, and then what I call stepping into a communication that's their home. So, for instance, on the phone, I can't see if you're sitting there going, but what I can do is here, if you're talking really fast, I'm going to mirror that and try to talk faster. If you're going, who is this again? I'm going to slow down. I'm going to reintroduce myself, remind you where we met, talk a little bit slower, because I'm going to mirror your energy and mirror your body language, whether it's on the phone or whether it's in person. And so, here we go. Okay, so here, the competitive advantage for me was overcoming a lot of my past. Fear of being unknown, unliked, lacking credibility. I'm an Army brat daughter. I lived all over the world. Every 2 years we moved, and so I never had time to get in a place and actually make friends, and then up and poof, we'd move again. And so what I did learn real quickly was how to get others to like me and how to kind of just invite myself to things, because I never had time to develop meaningful relationships and get people to invite me. So I just learned to say things like, oh, well, what are we doing this weekend? And it seemed to work. And they thought, well, who is she? This new chick. I remember we moved from 7th to 8th grade, literally from Alabama to Florida. It was our first year. And 7th to 8th grade, I mean, that's kind of crucial. That's like a big deal, little brand new teenager. And I was getting ready to think I was going to be Miss All That up in Alabama as a cheerleader in 7th grade. And Daddy, it was like, a month. And here he got a job change, and we moved to Florida. And so I was in 8th grade. 8th grade, 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 8 Up there, they do seventh, 8th, and ninth grade is called junior high. Down here, it's middle school, right? So anyway, yeah, eighth grade was the big wig at the middle school. So I didn't know a soul. It was a huge middle school. I came from this little junior high school in Alabama, and we were there, and they had student council tryouts or something. I was pretty creative and could make these posters, and I was creative and could do all that. And I saw these other kids doing this and running for office, and I thought, well, I'll run. I can make posters. Well, I made all these fun posters, didn't know me from Adam, and I got elected. So sometimes you can't think, what if I don't win? What if you don't try? Right? What if? What if you try and fail? Okay. What if you try and win? What if? Isn't that cool? That's how you want to think as an entrepreneur. So here we go. What is your thing to overcome? What's holding you back? What is something that you think in the back of your mind, you often say, I'd have the competitive advantage if only. If only what? If only. Now, we're in mixed company, so I know what all the girls are saying. I'm not sure what all the guys are saying, but, we all have our if-onlys. If only everything from status to visual to background to family to social and spiritual and economic, and there's a plethora of fill in the blanks. But you've got to cancel, and get rid of that. And so here is my let it go. I do not sing. But the next picture is part of the example. Right before that, thing with 8th grade in Alabama and moving to Florida, we actually lived in Holland. And we never lived on an army base. We always lived in the community. So I learned fluent Dutch and spoke German and came there from a different part of Alabama. So I had American slang in Europe. Go figure that. But it was a lot of fun, and effective communication was a two-way street. Now, I didn't learn those languages the first year I was there. So I learned to really, again, read body language. And, there is that saying, love in any language. It's really true. I'm not getting all lovey-dovey here, but, people, you can communicate with your eyes. Did you know that looking right eye to right eye denotes the truest and most sincere form of honesty and truthfulness? And if I can't see your right eye, this is a real problem in an interview. If I were interviewing you, you wouldn't be hired for that one reason alone. Get your hair out of your face, stand up and sit up straight, and look right eye to right eye. Do you know when you go to extend your hand, and we'll do that in a minute, but when you go to extend, even if you're a left-handed person, it's still pretty typical that you extend a right hand to shake with. Again, that's why, because when I extend that, I lean in right into your right eye. It really is a powerful way that tells somebody, I'm valuable, I'm worth it, and I think so, and I want you to think so too. And people that don't, that hide it, hairdos we're not talking about style for that. We're simply talking about industry psychology that truly says when your eyes are not visible, it denotes subconsciously that you're hiding something. So anyway, here we go. Let's talk about overcoming our objections.
And overcoming life's surprises.
Oh boy, there's a surprise. that didn't quite work. So the surprise for me, let me condense this. The surprise number one is that the trophy and winning that tournament was the first time in my life I ever even played in a tournament. So that was quite a surprise. And what I learned was that, hey, if I can just excel, I'll really get people to like me. And so that can be good and that can be not so good. So that kind of turned out not so good to be quite the overachiever that I was. But one of the greatest surprises of my life was, in fact, when I was 21 years old. And that person over there on the left showed up in my life. I met him for the first time right out of the blue and was told that he was my biological father. I mean, go figure. Right? Talk about a surprise in your life. That kind of threw me for a loop, especially since I had a daddy. My mom remarried when I was 3 years old. I knew that. I didn't remember that. But I never once heard of this person. We never had any contact. I never asked about his name. It didn't matter to me. I had a daddy. I was raised with a mom and a dad that I loved. I thought it was a super healthy, we were a pretty cool family. Then I find out we're dysfunctional. No, I mean, that I had to go back home from this Christmas, that I was just like everybody else, right? And so lo and behold, that was quite a surprise when I went back to college and had to tell my best friend, you'll never believe who I just met. And I mean, she was shocked. You mean like your dad's not really your dad? I'm like, oh, no, dad is my daddy. There's this other, donor person in life that, anyway. So that's all I'm going to say. It was an interesting opportunity and an obstacle. And the fact that he and his wife were married and never had any children kind of became a big deal. And I'm grateful and I'm proud that we were able to foster a semi-healthy relationship across states, and it was good that way. And so my daddy is still alive, and my mom and they live here where I live, and he actually just passed a year ago. But it's freed me up to be able to talk openly about true obstacles in life, because I believe that all of us have our stuff. We got stuff going on. Life is hard, and there's a lot of things that you have to overcome to be open. So we're all going to just do this for a moment. This is healthy body language. Hands out right here, open palms. If you were sitting like this, you were giving me some very negative vibes, making me think that I wasn't doing a good job and you aren't listening to me and you're tuning me out. This, however, says, Wendy, bring it on. All right, so I want you, come on, bring it on. I want you to wake up in the morning. This is life. This is life. Look in the mirror at yourself and say, self, don't you ever die. The world needs you. Bring it on. Isn't that a great way to start the day? I mean, we've got stuff to overcome.
And so one of the best parts is the relatability that comes along with that. There are so many connections that you could make with your own experiences, with your own background, with your own past, different things that you've been through, different things that you've had to overcome, different experiences become aspects that are elements of bonding. They're also things that make you stand out. So when somebody talks to me about their love of rock climbing, I can talk to them about the couple times I've gone rock climbing. I'm more of a zip liner, which people don't expect, but I can also talk to them about growing up and shoveling snow and loving Florida because it's hot, and talk to them about moving 1,000 miles away and starting over kind of deals. So those are some really great topics to touch base on as well, and make you memorable also of talking about things that are relatable and looking up those interviewers, looking up those contact folks. I know every now and then I'll have students who will reach out, or alumni who will reach back and say, we had a connection in the interview because we both went to Full Sail, or we had a connection because we're both from Minnesota, or something like that, that you can find just by searching on LinkedIn or just looking around on a quick internet search.
And to that point, we're all on a journey, right? You're a work in progress. I'm a human becoming. I'm a human becoming. I know some things. I've had a lot of experiences in life. I've been really successful at a lot of things, and I failed at a lot of things, and I'm really open now at what I'm not good at. And it makes me a lot better and more effective and efficient to do what I know I am good at. But the journey to get there was sometimes painful, but I'm not done. I'm not done. Since we're talking about a classroom and we're at a college, I would say to you that school is never out for the pro. So let that sink in. Okay, so here we go. Obstacle or opportunity. Because I decided, you know what? I want to be all about opportunities. I am not letting this obstacle stop me. And so, this is just kind of a fun thing. Down there in the bottom, how many of you know Bethany Hamilton? She's the gal, the Hollywood blockbuster that got her arm the shark. What was the movie? Oh, gosh. Soul Surfer. Thank you. Soul Surfer and Mika Brzezinski and what's his name? Joe, Cup of Joe, Morning CNN, and Martha Stewart. I mean, all of this just happened in like the last 2 or 3 years. It's just exploded to the opportunities whose doors became open. Yes, I did a lot of work, and I had to walk through them, but I've had some really unique things. The reason I chose each of those, actually this moved people to action, I got to go on this 2-week cruise and speak on a cruise for free with my husband. It was fabulous. But every one of those pictures wasn't anything that I pursued. They all came to me as really unique opportunities for a lot of the work that I put in. And paid, by the way, which is always good, right? Okay, so next. So Michael Kors says, here he is, my big style icon. I wear the same thing every day. I always pack 2 black jackets, lots of black t-shirts, loads of white jeans, and I feel a little fresh and glamorous and graphic. Anyway, see, so a style can be very basic. But once you have a style and once you understand how you're being perceived, I love that he got it. His style is very clean. His style is very expected. You know what you're going to get when you ask him to MC an event or speak at a business conference. This is what you're going to get. But see, there's an analyzing that can happen. How do you think others perceive you? And then how do they actually perceive you? They may be a little different. And the better you get, the more those two should align. So here we go. Positive ways that my image supports my message. Now, depending on your industry or the business you think you might want to start or the one you might want to work at, okay, that's what I want you to have in mind. My dream job would be blank. What I would love to start. Maybe you've already started it small and you're in that process of scale and growth. But do I wear clothes that flatter my figure for a woman? And, are they industry appropriate? Am I confident with my handshake, my body language, my communication skills when networking, when interviewing, when people ask me what I do? Even as a student, when you're uncertain about your degree and people ask you, well, what are you going to school for? And what do you want to do with that? And you kind of shrug and you look around and you don't know because you really don't know. I want to encourage you to fake it till you make it, baby. I mean, you've got to come up with something that's better than, we'll see. Oh, yeah, you're who I want to hire. Right? I mean, come up with something. Well, what I hope to do is, well, I don't know if it'll work out, but my plan is to, well, that's the subconscious thought going on. That's right.
We had a crowd member say, fake it till you make it.
Yes.
I've had many students who are on their journey to find their success, which I think is a beautiful thing, because as you go through, you may have something, and some of you may have already experienced this, where something speaks to your soul. Anybody in there have this? of I knew I wanted to do this, and then I was exposed to something and kind of have a little bit of shift in direction. I know sometimes we even see this with some of our business concepts going through. If you find something that speaks to you even more so, and if you find something you love, you don't have to work a day of your life. So sometimes we'll have students who will make that shift and find something that they absolutely adore that coming in they didn't realize was an option until they sat through a class or saw a speaker or had some sort of other opportunity.
Well, and as professors too, and as we scale and grow, you might love this, but realize, really, I've always been passionate about this work. And so, you may not know how to convert your passion to cash yet, but tap into what your passion is and tap into where your giftedness. And it doesn't matter that they're not hiring. If it's your passion and you're gifted at it, it is going to appear, right? So you've got to have that belief that there is a place and a space and a time for you. And I don't know if it's here to the first step or if it's up there. But I'm willing to keep moving forward and get there. And these are some of the things you can do on the journey to get more recognized and better remembered, okay? So are you consistent? Now, this is a big one, online and offline. Do you know that the number one place that recruiters and job heads and HR specialists are going to go to look and learn about you after they peruse your resume is where?
Social media.
SM, that's right.
Yes.
Every social media account you have. And if you're currently actively looking, I would encourage you to really focus on just LinkedIn. But nonetheless, this isn't a social media class. I'm in a social media world. They know. But I would just say pay a lot of attention. Are you consistent? I'm not telling you what to post or not post. Is it consistent with your message, your brand, who you are? Does it represent your true, authentic self? And, if it is, great. But over here, I might need to improve in using some of these. Do I need a checkup from the neck up? Do I need to appear more credible? This is what I get a lot of times when I work with my under 30s. I need to look more credible. A lot of girls in banking and, if you're getting hired, I just did a big event for a wealth management group, and about 75% of them were men right out of college. And so this was like their first big job, and they had to go buy a suit, and they felt awkward, and, they just thought any old suit and tie was a look. Any old suit and tie is not a look. Excuse me, it is a look.
It may not be the look.
It is a look, but it is not the look. Thank you, that's right. So I'll show you in just a minute, but a professional business card, professional headshot. We'll see that again in a minute. Your email signature. This is a big deal. Big deal. I got called back multiple times to do radio interviews with this one station up in Chicago. And the third time the lady called me, she said, "Do you know why I keep calling you?" And I'm like, well, I guess you just need content. You need a guest, you need a guest, you need a guest. Every day you need a guest. So it was about a 6-month period. She goes, "No, I remembered you all the time because you're the only person out of all my radio guests that puts your headshot in your email signature." I thought, really? I didn't know you were not supposed to do that. I thought that just helps them remember, right? It was just a little one. You just cut it off right here. There it goes, right? So you might want to put your headshot in your email signature. It helps people remember you. Of course, you want to make sure it's a professional
one. If I may ask a quick question, just a survey of hands here in the auditorium. How many have a headshot on 4.0? We just launched our new learning management system. How many have a headshot? Okay. About 50%.
about
The
half.
rest of you, we will learn as little shadow outlines. So you can always go ahead and put that photo up. You want to make sure it complies with our standards for FSO 4.0 to make sure it's a professional headshot with your face centered, et cetera. But that's a really great example because for us as educators, we get to know you, particularly those of you joining us online. We get to know you based on the little gray shadow outline person or based on your headshot in advance. So that way we can interact with you and we get to know you just like when you see our headshot, you get to know just a little snapshot of us and our personality too.
Great point. Great point. And when you're communicating outside of Full Sail and when you do start interviewing, sending resumes, having the Full Sail tagline under your name is a huge credibility. If you don't know that, that's fabulous. That is a wonderful way to add credibility to who you are and what you do and what you've put in. So don't shy away from using that as well. And then voicemail. You know, your voicemail, what if? That silly, make them laugh, kind of funny, casual, you know what, voicemail happens to be the one that company you were just thinking and telling me that you wanted to get hired by is the one he calls and hears. Man, what if they call and you mess that up? You don't want to mess that up. You know, when you start getting in that mode, I mean, maybe now if it is just friends, it's different. But what if some headhunter? What if some coach of a team? What if someone from Hollywood got your name as a referral and called you up? Don't you want to have the best first impression possible? And it could be on your phone, right? So let's look at this. I bolded the handshake there. We'll do it in a minute. Okay. It's coming up. But the key verbal communication skills that you want to utilize, they come from that inner core value of you believing who you are. And when you believe that you're valuable and that you're worth it, that simply extends and expresses itself and comes out to others. So that's the part. I value me equals you value me, right? And paying it forward always comes back. So these are just some like life principle things that I think have helped open up doors for me too, that both the right kind of actual verbal communication, you know, using the jackpot theory just to keep putting in quarters and putting in quarters and putting in quarters, you know, and hoping to hit the jackpot one day isn't really a good plan. You know, you want to focus more on what you can control, realizing that you could be one person away from that awesome contact you really want to meet. You know, you've heard that saying that it's somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. I mean, really, you're about 7 people away. I put 500 to the top escalator, but I think it's actually 7 people away from really knowing whoever it is that you want to be introduced to, that you want to know about you.
It's that Kevin Bacon, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon that comes into play.
Great, great. Okay, so next slide, here we go. And our verbal communications also should be thoughtful. Think about what you're saying, you know, and be authentic. And so what I mean by that is learning to say often things like, I appreciate you. I know this is so simple. It seems like elementary, but I'm grateful for you. That was really kind. Smile. Pause. And then sometimes when you're dealing with conflict, you know, a way to get your idea out there is that you might just want to say, you know, well, you were really thoughtful to ask. I'll certainly consider that. We were talking about this the other day. You know, I don't know if you've ever considered, but what you might want to do would be, you know, kind of like when you're not asked your opinion, but you feel like you need to give it. That's when that one comes in really good. May I share something? You know, sometimes the way to really get respect and be heard is to not be the loudest whiner. That's when you're a 2-year-old. Okay, when you're a 2-year-old and you're loud, we give them whatever they want to shut up. Candy. Sorry, we don't really do that. Good moms go, oh, come here, honey. Shut up. Give them a lollipop. No. Anyway, but being grateful truly and truly that says, do you think maybe we could? Establishing some ownership and some togetherness. I often call it, visually, it's coming alongside somebody instead of you and I conversing like this where we're kind of bantering. So what I subliminally want to do is come beside you so we can move forward together in places of conflict or disagreement even. That's a really good way to communicate, okay? So the next slide is going to be talking about your nonverbal communication. So this is really the body language that does it communicate what you intended it to? That's the focus. Is it communicating what you intended it to? Now, if you're tired, you're tired. It's nothing personal. It's okay. But are you intending to look really slouchy and tired and grumpy? Heavens no. Well, then, do you see what I'm saying? How oftentimes that's the truth. So did you know even that, see the girl with her hands in her pocket? Hands in your pocket, front pocket, back pocket, jacket pocket. It doesn't matter. Subliminally, the science reveals 100% of people surveyed said that when they see someone with their hands in their pocket, it too denotes that you're hiding something. And so that's, again, why I did, the visual of open palmed hand. When you sit, it's often really good, to just sit like this. Try not to turn your hands over and hide them between here. Sit with open hands. Oftentimes when I'm nervous or if I'm going to be with someone where there is going to be conflict, if there's a table, I'll sit like that with my hands under the table because it helps me remember to be open. And I don't sit back in the chair. I want to be up and ready. I am ready for action. And I have to sit up straight when I sit on the end of the chair because when I sit back, I go like this. And my husband has a pet peeve of bad posture. So anyway, this is what we do. But so there's a, few of those other things. Really always kind of standing like this just means like you're second guessing people. And I know that, when we sit on our desk and we're tired, and, that's not always what you're meaning in that setting. But just be aware of open hands, open body language. Learning how to best communicate that and not close your fists and not always looking at your watch when you're talking to someone. Because even if you have to be somewhere, when you're looking at your watch and you're talking to me, what is that telling you? And where I have to go is more important than you. And I don't mean that, but I really have to go. But I'll glance in a minute. I put my hand over it to help me remember. And so I might just stand here for a minute and go like that and remind myself. And when I'm done with you, then, I'll glance when I turn around or something. But to constantly be looking at your watch and looking over someone's head, those are all signals that, really aren't engaging with the person like you most want to. Okay, next. So body language is there's the watch, there's the, laptop, always on the phone. And I know the society is just different. I mean, I did have my daughter in the urgent care the other day, and I was shocked at how many people were in urgent care talking on their phones. It was all I could do to just... there's the door. You excuse yourself. Sorry, I'm sounding like I get all my there. You excuse yourself and you go make a call, take a call, finish your call. One man came in the urgent care on the phone, walking in the door, to having a full-fledged conversation. I mean, it's just rude. It's rude. It is rude. It's rude. I said it. I'm online. It's rude. Okay, here we go. The girl. Now, y'all probably know this because y'all are these kind of smart people. But taking pictures straight on is never as good as like this. Right? So make sure that when you're taking pictures, when you're learning how to do your headshot, that you use angles, and angles that are horizontal are better than T's. Okay? That's what the picture is there for, because again, that's communicating something. It's communicating a flow versus harshness. A straight-on figure where your hips and your shoulders are straight forward is rough.
It's a mug shot. It's not a headshot.
Yes, this is the headshot. Ladies, you can talk to me later. Okay, next, here we go. And now, Cassie, here we go.
Oh, here
Ready?
we go. Audience participation time.
Are you the limp noodle, the knuckle crusher, or the princess shaker? All right, so if you extend, ladies, your hand like this, that's a little princess, okay? Conversely, guys, especially when you're going to shake a woman's hand, please, we have these rings and it hurts. You go right here, everybody hold, make an L, show me your L. With your right hand, yes, with your right hand. There you go, you got it. Okay, right here. All right, we're going in. Bam. You got to go into there. Hold it nice, firm grip, no knuckle crushing. Shake, right eye to right eye. Turn to your buddy and do it. Ready? Get in there. All right, no wet noodles. Y'all got it? Right eye to right eye? Did you do it? Okay.
It's also...
Yes? Come on. Okay.
Also, little tip, it's part of the reason why when you go to a special event, always put your name tag on your right side. You're most likely going to shake hands right to
And
right.
look right there.
So I'm looking at Wendy Lyn and I'm seeing her name tag. So that way I can see who she is, what she does, etc. So
That's right. So right
little
eye to
helpful
right
tip.
eye, name tag high up on the right side. You don't want to get confused, ladies, with having them look at high up on the right side. Go in, shake, right eye to right eye. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Now, ladies, did you know that technically etiquette is, in men, a woman is supposed to extend her hand first to a man. A man, technically, we don't live out fully all that etiquette anymore, but technically in a setting where a man is meeting a woman, the man should wait for the woman to extend her hand. Nice to meet you. Especially when it's business, right? So ladies, what does that say? Excuse me? Boss. No. Confident.
Yes.
It just says, I'm confident. I'm happy to meet you. I'm honored to be here. I'm honoring you. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. What was your name again? Right? So getting that handshake right is a big deal. Big, big deal. Okay. Moving right along, and we'll have to go a little more quickly. You can see I alluded to earlier that it's just that tweak sometimes. Well, she had a little bit more than just a tweak, but she needed a full-on... Anyway, so I gave her one. But I think she looks a lot better. Some people look a whole lot better with glasses, and some need to lose the glasses. It just depends. And some, can do something with their hair, and that really helps. The proper use of jewelry, accessories. Of course, I'm talking to women with makeup, and, wearing patterns appropriately is another big deal. So I've got a few for you men as well, but here we are with a headshot. Of course, the one on the top. Now, this is a client's LinkedIn profile picture, the one on the left up top. That was her LinkedIn profile picture. I said, oh, no, honey. We are changing that ASAP, right? Don't you think the one on the right is a whole lot better for a LinkedIn profile picture? Is that a professional picture? The one on the left, I'm not so sure. I don't know, what does she do? That's what I was wondering. Okay, so it's a big deal when your ROI will give you the power and punch that you want it to simply by all of these subliminal messages, body languages, and nonverbal communication. Okay. So here we go. Now, this is exactly what I was talking about, a recent client down on the bottom left. Now, he's cute. I think he looks sharp. It's good. Facial hair is one of the biggest things I always get asked. Always, 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 always. So you can say, I let him keep his facial hair. We just had to trim it up a bit so it looks clean. That's all. You can talk to me later. But see, the one on the left was he got a suit and a tie. Now, the one on the right, he looks sharp. Do you see the difference? Can you tell? This is good. It's okay. It's not bad. But the one on the right is great. He's in the right color. Well, you can't tell in that picture, but it totally complemented his eyes. The tie was perfect. I mean, it was perfect for the interview he was going for. So same thing on the Mr. Chow on the bottom right. But the after, do you see how I got him in a vest? He didn't really want a suit, but the vest, because he was about 5, 6, or 7, I can't remember. But for a man, that was, he wasn't short, but that was kind of short for a man. He was under 6 foot. So we needed to give him height. In order to have height, if you're a man under 5'8", you want a column dress. You want to wear same color shirt, or in this case, vest, same color pant. That's called a column. I have a column of navy on and then a fun little jacket, right? But that column dressing will add a lot of height for you as a man. And for most men that are under 5'8", that's very helpful to their confidence in their psyche. So if your pants are baggy, well, get some right fitting pants. Okay, next. All right, here we go. So, again, the man up top, the pants, I don't know, maybe his mom bought them for him, but they don't fit. They do not fit, okay? Some of you need help with this, but look at the lady in the middle. I mean, is that, I know it might look like your mama, but she's okay on the left, but she looks sharp on the right. That's a sharp right. Yes, ma'am. She does. All right, now the lady on the bottom needs a different shirt. But anyway, if we have the muffin middle issues, you probably don't want to wear tight, clingy fitting things that super exaggerate the muffin middle. So there's an example of why the proper undergarments that can help women are very good to utilize. All right. So here we go. Always buy the best quality you can afford with your core pieces. And core pieces, I mean black or navy pant, ladies. You want them, the kind that hang, that have a seam down the middle, that are sharp, that make you feel like $1,000,000. Guys, you gotta have one good suit, one navy jacket that you can wear with jeans and let the shirt hang out. That's a very casually chic look for a man. A jacket with jeans, very appropriate today. Today's industry is a lot more casual, and again, depending on what it is that you're going for. But nonetheless, a couple of examples. Don't text me. That was the last workshop I did. Okay, great. Now, here are some quick faux pas. No makeup, too much makeup. I don't need to say nothing about the one on the left. Please I don't want to see you. Okay, the middle, this was a picture of a man at the workshop, a wealth and management workshop I was teaching. And I did ask his permission, could I take a picture? Because this is so what not to do. And we laughed about it. But anyway, if you're trying to do wealth management and get anyone to invest in you and believe you and give you money to do anything, they probably don't want to have you show up in Crocs, sandals, or long toenails. I mean, that's just gross. Okay, so next, a few other fashion faux pas
Have just
here as
about
we wrap
5 minutes
up.
left,
Okay, yes, you can carry on because it's,
Okay.
just baggy, next, turning your obstacles. There I am. That was the first time I was ever on Fox News, I think about 5 years ago. So anyway, great carry on. And so here we go. The goal is to look. Don't you love that picture? Look at her smiling. Yes, right? Here we are again. Hands are open. We're going to wake up tomorrow morning and look at the camera and roar. It's not what others see. It's really what you see. It's what you see. How valuable do you think you are? And then convey that verbally and non-verbally in an effective way, and you will have the competitive advantage. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. Be different, be unique, and be you. And you'll always have the competitive advantage. Thank you for sharing your evening with me.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and open the floor if we have any questions for our speaker here in the auditorium or online.
I've got to say, this is just so cool. Isn't this cool? I mean, how many of you, is this your first year here? Wow, look at that. Okay. Don't you love it? Aren't you pumped? This is cool. Yes, sir.
We'll go ahead and wait for the mic.
Sorry,
We have
the
a
mic.
question up front
Okay.
here.
We've got one back there.
Here we go.
There's-
That way our friends online can hear you.
Yes, my question is, I was kind of confused about your message. I know you said that we have to be different, but then you said you're giving us guidelines as far as what we have to dress like, but some people are different. Their industries are different, so that's what I was wondering.
So the question was dealing with consistency of message, of being different, being unique, but yet being consistent. And the question was really focused on some of the guidelines versus the specific industry, right? Okay.
And that's a really good question. And let's go back to the very beginning. Remember what the poker player said? What did he say?
He said he
What gave
understands.
him the competitive
Understanding.
advantage?
Understanding.
It's understanding how you're being perceived. And so if you can understand how others are perceiving you, and that's good with you, and that's going to help you get where you're wanting to go and where your goals are going to take you, then that's good for you. That's good for you. So there's that understanding of what really matters for you. There's the general rule, and then there's the exception to the rule based on industry standard. Is that a good enough answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything more specific you were referring to?
No,
Thank you for asking.
thank you.
Great.
Wendy, thank you
Yes.
so much for your presentation. My question is, what was one life-changing moment for you, like advice? Was there any advice you got from someone that was life-changing for you in terms of your life or your career?
There's two that I always use. I alluded earlier to saying that I actually am and was an athlete. I played ball my whole life, and I actually played softball in college. And one of the things I'm really grateful for about having a background in sports is that it equates to life and business. And my high school softball coach always said, how you practice is how you play. And you're not going to show up, you're not going to play in the game on Friday if you don't show up at practice Monday through Thursday. And I always remember that in life, that life is a lot about practicing, and it's a lot about showing up sweaty in the dirt and the mud. It doesn't matter what the weather did that day. We had practice. If it wasn't on the field, we were in the weight room. If it wasn't in the weight room, we were in the gym, right? It's different. And in life, you got to show up. You got to show up. Those that show up, go up. That's what I got to tell you. So networking events that are industry specific. You may not know why you should go, but if you have a chance to go, go. Show up. You show up. Just show up. Show up for class. Show up wherever your professor says he's going to be, that he invites you to be. Show up. You show up, and something good is going to happen. And so that principle is something that, was really good. And then there was one other little negative motivation, at a time when I'm on the sport thing here. So I coached high school girls softball. And I was the female coach, and I was in the locker room with all the other male coaches, the baseball, football, all them, right? And they said to me one day, "Are you really going to ever win a free car doing that? You got to sell a lot of lipstick to do that, don't you?" I looked at him, and that was all I needed. 3 months later, I drove up in that bus line, working full-time, coaching full-time. I had started another business on the weekend. That was my entrepreneur weekend job. And this little Mary Kay thing that I was really just doing for something fun for my mother because she wanted product at wholesale. I wasn't ever planning on doing anything big with that Mary Kay thing. But when he said that to me in the locker room, I thought, oh, yes, sir, I am winning a free car. And I pulled up to the school in the bus line and had them come on the intercom. "Whoever is the owner of that pink Cadillac, would you please move it?" And I was like, yes, that would be me. It's called free. Yes, it was free insurance, free car. It was when I won my first pink Cadillac. I think I was 26 years old. I was one of the youngest ones that had ever won a pink Cadillac. And the car was more than the house. My car in the garage, it had the sticker on it, like I left it on for 2 weeks because I was so excited. I don't even know how much it was, but it was more than whatever the house. I had bought this little teeny house. I was single still, and I was doing my own thing in life. But yeah, so, the naysayers, the people that really rub you wrong and doubt you, use that as some really good motivation. Because when they don't think you can, all that really matters is what? If you think you can, right? It doesn't matter what other people think. All right? Now, I'm saying that tongue in cheek. Okay, yes, you want to seek mentors. You want to seek advice. You need feedback right now. You haven't lived long enough to have a lot of life experiences. We were talking about this today. Someone said to me, now, granted, just get this in perspective. He just came from the White House and got relocated here to do something here in Orlando, Florida. He's been working for 40 years in business. He is brilliant. And he has this intern that's been there for 2 years. And she said, she's like 25 years old, and she just said to him, "Well, we've always done it this way." And he said, "Excuse me, how long have you been doing it that way?" 2 years. "How long have you been working here?" 2 years. And, it was funny to me because that probably wasn't the right response to say to someone of his caliber that had 40 years of experience to your 2 years. You just don't have enough years of experience. So, yes, you need feedback, but the truth is what matters so much is that you believe you can do it, and you believe that perhaps sometimes this is a right way. Could we try it this way? Is there a reason why? Could we talk about why you think that's better? Do you see what I'm saying? Earn the respect. Put in the time. It will always come back to you tenfold. So, more questions? Anything else about verbal, nonverbal communication skills? How to really ask for what you want and get it?
Online questions.
I think we have a couple online.
Great.
Got quite a few if you're ready for them. First one is from Pierre. He wanted to know, does the style of attire change depending on the region, such as LA to New York or Portland to Miami? And if so, should we always keep up with popular fashion and business fashion?
Okay, so thank you, Pierre. Regions, of course. We live in Florida. People wear flip-flops 12 months out of the year. Girls wear with dresses and wear them to church, wear them to school, wear them to work. It's not quite as appropriate in the Northeast to be doing that, all right? So regions do, in fact, matter. And what was the other part about, does it from business?
Just keeping up with the fashions
Keeping up
of the
with
time.
trends, yes. Oh, I'm glad. I wanted to address that. Okay, I'm a proponent of classic more than the latest trend. Okay, I had a slide that said invest in the best that you can afford. And then for women and men, accessories are things like your jewelry, the scarves, your purse, your bag, your shoes, your ties, your belt, your watch, maybe, and hairstyles occasionally transcend styles of time. But typically, those things can be trendy. And they're typically less expensive. And so if you invest in a wardrobe, especially being younger, thinking about possible career wear, whatever that may be, invest in the best you can of those core items and then let the accessories be a bit more trendy. So, if you're in the fashion and style industry, of course, that's different. It's very important for you to have that look. If you're going into wealth management, insurance, banking, you absolutely need a navy suit. Navy, navy, navy is your color because that denotes, the meaning of that color denotes the highest form of trustworthiness and sincerity. So learning to use the meaning of color based on industry. And, a lot of the creative spaces, there's all kinds of, what's his name? He's known for his orange Converse. I mean, it doesn't matter what he wears. That's all he has on is orange Converse. It doesn't matter what it goes with, what he's wearing, where he's speaking. He has that book. It's not Seth Godin, but, I'm sorry. Anyway, he's a Seth-like guy. Y'all know who Seth is, right? Black cow, white cow, pink cow, purple cow. Mm-hmm. It's that Seth. So he's known by orange Converse. And you might have a style, you're not Mark yet, but when you own your own Facebook, you can wear hoodies on stage and talk to millions of people and get paid millions of dollars. But probably that's not the best thing to wear if you're hoping to get there, okay? On the journey to success, in the road to get there, you want to look like you belong. Another question?
Okay. This is from Sung. He wanted to know if you had any recommendations of words for making better voicemails to employers.
Keywords. Keywords to respond to, it's hard to answer because it depends on industry.
I know here at the university, if anybody calls my extension, ever since the day I started Full Sail, if you ring my extension, I will answer the phone regardless of who it is. Thank you for calling Full Sail. This is Cassie. How may I help you? And the first time I ever did it, and it was somebody far above my pay grade, you could hear the pause on the other end of the phone as they waited a moment and said, "Where were you taught to answer the phone like that?" And they just paused for a second and were like, "What in the world is this?" And it's one of those, early on in my career, one of the jobs I had in college was I was working in an office space at the university that I attended. And my boss at the time said, number one, always answer the phone with a smile, no matter how bad your day is, don't bring the other person down, which was a pretty good tip. And number two, I have no idea where you came from. If I'm the first person you're talking to, because somehow you rang through a switchboard and you get to me and I say, what? And that's your welcome to Full Sail, that's just not a good fit. If 5 people have welcomed you to Full Sail and thank you for calling and how may we help you, I would rather be apologetic that they're overwhelmingly accommodating than answer the phone and saying, this is Cassie, what kind of deal? So you want to think about that. I know my own voicemail, I've had 2 or 3 people contact me, and actually I had a grad call me a couple of weeks ago and ask me if I could figure out some way to record their voicemail, which I thought was hysterical, because when you call my voicemail is very formal. Outside of Full Sail, I'm an entertainment attorney. I serve on boards for various organizations. So my voicemail is very, very formal, very structured. And they had caught my voicemail because they had rung through to that. And they said, hey, your voicemail is really on point. And I told them, I said, call back 5 times. If you want to listen to my voicemail, just call back 5 times. I'm not going to stress over it. But just think about what your industry is, what your industry standard is all about, what those expectations are. When you're looking at dress codes, same exact thing. I've worked for offices where dress code, even for legal, in one of the corporations that I work for, Casual Friday was shorts, flip-flops, and a company t-shirt because it was a hospitality company. I work at Full Sail. I'm still not in shorts and a t-shirt and a tank top or shorts any day of the week. We're a little bit more formal, but I also can tell you I have a suit jacket hanging at my desk, and when I saw Wendy Lyn coming in tonight, I thought, I don't think that I need to be the person on the left-hand side of the slide who's super corporate formal. I'm going to go ahead and stay a little bit more casual for the presentation. So you want to mirror to an extent as well.
That's a good point. And so, again, with the voicemail, one of the things you can do, have you listened to yours lately? Just listen to it and say, would I be attracted to that person? Would I want to do business with that person? If I could, maybe would I hire that person? I don't know. Do you sound compelling and engaging? Or just kind of, there's either the monotone, blah, 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 or the I don't even know what you said, or the and the what, and now one of the things that I will say, what was his name again?
That was Sung.
That was Sug. Okay, so here it is for you, Sug. Don't make any promises on your voicemail to leave a message and let me call you back if you don't plan on calling them back. Hello, right? Don't even say it. Just say thank you for your message. Hi, this is Wendy Lyn Phillips with Wendy Lyn Unlimited. I'm so glad you've called me. Thanks for your message. I will call you back as soon as I can. That's the best I can do, is as soon as I can. My goal is 24 hours. I either have a secretary or, it's going to be as soon as I can. But I think if that's a problem, I remember recently leaving 3 messages. I don't care how busy you are. Then get that off the voicemail. If you're a business, get it off your voicemail.
And you can always add in there for a faster response, please send an email to, and make sure your email, you either spell it out, make sure it's not something that's ridiculous, that you wouldn't want your employer sending you a message at that address, but go ahead and share that because that can also be helpful. I called earlier and somebody's assistant said the easiest way to reach my boss is to send an email. I can take a voicemail or I can take a note, but he only returns phone calls Friday at 4 o'clock. That's his shtick. So if you can wait until 4 o'clock on Friday, you'll go in the stack. You might get a call back at 7:30 on Friday night, though. So be aware, email, lightning fast. So definitely something to consider.
Right, and I think it's great to ask people when you're moving into certain relationships like that where, it's important and you're being considered, even for philanthropy, to be on a committee, to volunteer for something, to simply ask the organizer, now, what's the best way for me to communicate with you? Do you prefer me calling you, texting, or email? And I guarantee you, if you ask me that, and just because you asked me, you honored me. Ooh, I like you. That's what I say in my mind. I'm like, you go, girl. Yes, that happened when we had those interns for WWC last year. Anyway, yes, they were on it. They were some girls from the hospitality that were doing some volunteer work with us, and she sent me an email. Miss Phillips, how would you prefer that I communicate with you? I'm like, yes, someone taught her well. That was good. Any other?
Yeah, we got Pedro up next. He wanted to know if you could provide any information on techniques or ways of learning how to read body language in a professional environment.
Yes, there's a very long, there's a lot of good books about it that go into a lot of detail. I mean, there's a lot. I've studied psychology on this for 20 years because I do work with clients on air. I work with clients who want media exposure. I work with occasionally some attorneys in the courtroom. There's a lot of reasons all those attorneys do everything they do with their hands and their fingers and the way they look and how they pause and how they roam back and forth and when they stop. This is one of the biggest things, the power of the pause. Mm-hmm. And when you learn to implement the power of the pause, that's verbal, but really that's almost a nonverbal body language too, and what that means. But, learning, there's a whole lot of even what foot is forward. And if I stand this way, actually, I've been on this side way too much. It's true. I looked at y'all a lot, though, didn't I? Did I do pretty good? Yes? Okay. I always try to do that. But if I stood on that side the whole night, subliminally, you guys go, she didn't like us. Subliminally, you think maybe. Now, the reason I'm not, let me tell you why this is weird to me when I'm on stage. I'm telling you, right? She is behind me looking at my butt, right?
And I am completely closed off from her back here as well.
Now, see, that I don't like that. I know she's back there, so I either need to go, wait, come on, camera guy. Hello there. So now I can communicate with her. I can see the screen. I can see all of you. I didn't do this very well. I didn't come over here, okay? But that's why I don't want to be here. I didn't want to be here. I wanted to be over here, and then I really tried to look at y'all and scan and pan. But some of those things are very important based on when you sit in a chair, where your toes are pointed. There's a lot of absolute, they do a lot of this with interviewers and looking when people look up to the right side first when asked during those interviews of you probably did something not so right with the law. There's a lot of things in psychology. And, for general purposes, most of the things I covered tonight will really, really help you if you just take a few of them and put them into practice and really focus more on honoring other people and observing their behavior, and then really learning how to maximize that to your advantage. Another?
We got a last one from Elizabeth, and she wanted to know, what is the best level of energy you should convey, and is it different from a business environment to a networking environment and so on?
Okay, the energy, remember in the beginning I said mirror, the tonality, the voice inflection, how loud and how fast and how slow you talk. Now, I didn't want to put you to sleep. So in this environment, I need to be big. I need to be big and encompass all of you and talk to you up there. I see y'all all the way up there. Hey, are you the girl that mic'd me up? You're still here awake. All right. So there's a lot that you can convey by that. But I would always say mirror the energy from the person you're communicating with. So if it's a one-on-one, that doesn't change from relationships. You know, what I do to communicate effectively with my now 10-year-old who, when she was 5, is, you've heard it many times, but I have to go, Lovey, look at mommy. Honey, I said, no, we cannot do this tonight. And when I talk to her like that and I grab her shoulders and I tell her to look in my eyes, I'm telling her, I love you, but no, girlfriend. And I am the mama. But when I stand up here and I say, Kendall, I said, no, I want to do it. No. All we do is she yells at me and I yell back and she yells at me. When I get down and I take a deep breath, I get on her level, literally, we communicate. It worked really effective, and we do call her Blender with the top off because that's what she is. Oh my gosh, she's not watching this. Okay, was that it?
That was it.
That
Thank
was
you.
it? Those were some great questions. Thank you for your engagement, your interaction. I'm available. You certainly can reach out to me at wendylynonline.com. There is that, yes, I want all your free stuff. And if you do that tonight, I'll know you were here. And if you give me your name, I'll send you to a fun private landing page where the guys can get the free guy download and the girls can get the free girl download. How's that? So you just put your name in and say yes, give me your email, and I'll send it over to you tomorrow. Thank you again for being here tonight. And here's to your question. Oh, sorry, you're about to clap? Yes, I'm sorry. Now I've pointed you out. I didn't mean to embarrass. Okay, thank you for being here tonight. And here is to your knockout style.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us on Full Sail On Air. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.